Batman has some of the best villains ever: Joker, Bane, Riddler. But not every bad guy in Gotham is scary or cool. Some are just lame. Today, we are looking at the worst Batman villains ever. The ones who make you ask, how did this guy even become a villain? We are starting with Mr. Camera, a lame villain who first appeared in Batman issue 81 in 1954. Donning a helmet shaped like an oversized camera, he committed crimes by photographing his heists and even managed to snap an unmasked photo of Batman and Robin. However, his plan to blackmail the dynamic duo failed when the image turned out too blurry to reveal their identities. Mr. Camera's unusual gimmick and lack of real threat have rendered him one of Gotham's most lame adversaries. Then there is the Baffler, a villain who desperately wanted to be as clever as the Riddler but fell far short. Real name Titus Tsonka. He was a former construction worker with more muscles than brains. Trying to mimic his boss, the Clue Master, he left simple, childish clues at crime scenes, hoping to outsmart Batman. However, his plans were so poorly thought out that they often backfired. The Baffler's lack of intelligence and clumsy nature made him more of a laughingstock than a legitimate threat in Gotham City. Then there is the Penny Plunderer, a villain whose obsession with pennies led him down a path of crime. Born as Joe Coyne, he started as a newspaper seller, earning pennies for his work. After a series of penny-related misfortunes, including being caught stealing small change and a failed robbery yielding only pennies, Coyne became fixated on the 1-cent coin. Adopting the moniker Penny Plunderer, he committed crimes centered around pennies, even attempting to use a giant penny to crush Batman. Then we have the Rainbow Creature, a bizarre monster that emerged from a volcano in Ecuador. This colorful beast radiated different powers from each hue on its body, making it a unique adversary. A South American revolutionary named Diaz exploited the creature to instill fear and chaos in his country. Despite its formidable abilities, Batman and Robin managed to outsmart the Rainbow Creature, leading to its defeat. Then we have the Snowman. Real name Klaus Kristen, he is the offspring of a human woman and a male Yeti, giving him unique abilities. Debuting in Batman issue 337 in 1981, the Snowman arrived in Gotham City with plans to cover the city in ice and snow. His half-Yeti heritage granted him control over cold and superhuman strength, making him a formidable opponent. However, despite his icy powers, Batman managed to thwart his frosty schemes. Then there is the Actuary, a villain whose weapon is his brain. Real name unknown, he first appeared in Detective Comics issue 683 in 1995. As a mathematical genius, the Actuary worked for the Penguin, using complex calculations to plan crimes with high success rates. He analyzed probabilities to predict and counteract Batman's interventions. Despite his intellect, Batman outsmarted him, leading to his capture and imprisonment in Blackgate Penitentiary. Then we have the Ten-Eyed Man. Philip Reardon, a Vietnam War veteran, lost his sight in an explosion while working as a security guard. A doctor reconnected his optic nerves to his fingertips, allowing him to see through them. Blaming Batman for his blindness, Reardon adopted the identity of the Ten-Eyed Man to seek revenge. Despite his enhanced 360-degree vision, his dependence on his hands for sight proved to be a significant weakness. Then we have Crazy Quilt. Originally a painter and master thief, he used his artworks to communicate with his criminal associates. After being betrayed and blinded, he underwent an experimental procedure that restored his vision, but only allowed him to see in blinding, disorienting colors. This condition drove him insane, adopting the alias Crazy Quilt. He wields a helmet that emits hypnotic, multicolored lights and projects lethal laser beams. Then we have the Condiment King, a villain who turns everyday condiments into his weapons of choice. Created as a parody of campy supervillains, he first appeared in Batman, the animated series episode Make 'em Laugh, where comedian Buddy Standler was brainwashed by the Joker into adopting this quirky persona. Armed with ketchup and mustard guns, he attempted to rob a restaurant, only to be swiftly defeated by Batman. Then we have the Bouncer, a villain who used his scientific discovery for crime. He was a metallurgist who created elastalloy, a mix of rubber, steel, and chrome that let objects bounce without breaking. He made a suit from this material, allowing him to bounce away from danger. He later worked for the Monarch of Menace, but remained a Who in Gotham's underworld. Then there is Mr. Z, a Gotham City gangster who appears perpetually half asleep due to a unique form of narcolepsy. Despite his drowsy demeanor, he remains fully aware of his surroundings, often catching adversaries off guard. Debuting in Detective Comics, issue 824 in 2006, Mr. Ziziza frequently collaborates with fellow mobster Anthony Little Italy Marchetti, serving as the muscle in their criminal endeavors. Then there is Captain Calamity, a villain who began his criminal career as Mr. Esper, an enemy of Batman. As Mr. Esper, he invented a device that could influence people's minds, causing them to act strangely and diverting attention from his crimes. After being defeated by Batman, he rebranded himself as Captain Calamity and faced the Teen Titans. Despite his mind control technology, he remained a lame figure in Gotham's criminal underworld. Then there is the Zodiac Master, a masked villain who claimed to predict disasters using astrology. He secretly caused these events to gain trust from Gotham's criminals, offering to forecast their crimes' success for a share of the loot. Batman exposed his deceit, revealing that the Zodiac Master orchestrated the very disasters he predicted. Despite his schemes, he is lame as hell. Then we have Dr. Double X, a villain who can create an energy duplicate of himself. His real name is Simon X, a scientist who discovered how to make a copy of his own energy, which he called Double X. This duplicate could fly, had super strength, and could shoot energy blasts. However, it needed regular electrical energy to stay active. So, he gets shut down easily. Then we have Bag-O-Bones, a villain transformed by radiation into a skeletal figure. Real name Ned Cregan, he first appeared in Batman issue 195 in 1967. Exposure to radiation turned his skin transparent, making him look like a living X-ray. As Bag-O-Bones, he fought Batman and Robin but was defeated. Despite his transformations, he remained a lame figure in Gotham's criminal world. Then we have Kite Man, a villain who uses kite-themed gadgets to commit crimes. His real name is Charles Chuck Brown, a nod to the Peanuts character Charlie Brown, known for his kite-flying mishaps. He flies using a large kite and employs various trick kites as weapons. He is not a threat. Then we have the Eraser, a villain who specializes in erasing evidence from crime scenes. Real name Lenny Fiasco, he was once a classmate of Bruce Wayne. After being embarrassed by his constant mistakes, he turned to crime, offering his services to other criminals by removing traces of their activities for a 20% cut. Dressed in a suit resembling a yellow pencil, complete with an eraser-tipped helmet, the Eraser's unique appearance and gimmick made him a memorable, though not a problem for Batman. Then we have Dr. No-Face, a villain who lost his facial features due to a failed experiment. Real name Bartholomew Magan, he tried to remove a scar with a special device, but it erased his entire face instead. This accident drove him to madness, leading him to commit crimes in Gotham City. He is just a loser. Last, we have the Calculator, a villain who started with a costume covered in buttons like a giant calculator. He thought he could predict what heroes would do and even make solid objects from thin air. But heroes like Batman and Green Arrow stopped him. Later, he became a super smart hacker, helping other bad guys by giving them secret information. But who fears a calculator? And that's it. Some Batman villains are legendary, but these guys? Not so much. Do you think we missed any lame villains? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Batman videos.